I'm Hope, and I am working on building a tiny fantasy studio that will send out weekly snail mail letters to tell a fantasy story over the course of an entire year. I am unwell, so it's actually Monday. I normally record these on Sunday. I had to go to urgent care yesterday for a very persistent and aggressive headache. So I am on a lot of anti-inflammatories. I'm a little nauseous. My head is still 4 out of 10, but that's better than the 7 out of 10 that it was just kind of baselining. So this is going to be a really short, probably very low energy weekly recap. But last week I ended up gaining I netted 11 additional Instagram followers. And so we're doing more on the organic content side of the equation and trying to post more reels. Reels are kind of the answer to things. I do post standard, like, plain posts, so just regular pictures and stuff. I also went out to the San Juan, I always want to call it the San Juan Islands, but it's just San Juan Island, last week, and did a little vlogging, so there will be a bonus video when I am well enough to edit all of that. But I did start a new book, which was nice, and so I've been able to get a little bit more organic content inspiration from that, and so I'm trying to up my organic content output across all channels. I'm really not doing well with TikTok. In my head, I'm very strongly opposed to making TikTok content, even though it's literally the same as Reels or YouTube Shorts. I just am struggling with TikTok as a platform mentally. And it's not even that I judge TikTok content creators or people who watch TikToks or any of that. There's just something about getting in that platform that is very stressful and overwhelming and overstimulating to me. And I'm not vibing with it, but I do know that it's a very important channel because TikTok is huge. It's huge and it's important for actual social organic growth and presence. So I'm trying to get over that mental blocker that I'm having, but it is a bit of a struggle for me. So I am working on the organic side of things. We are seeing an uptick in impressions, followers, engagements, comments. Part of that is because I'm also making a concerted effort to do more than just like and follow people. I'm also trying to comment and engage with other people, make sure that I'm providing relevant and interesting commentary or even just supportive commentary, because that's the kind of energy that I would want to receive. And there are just some really cool people on Bookstagram, so it's been nice to get to connect with other folks. So that's been organic. I also had a kind of lightning strike moment where I was like, if I can't run meta ads, but my Meta Business Suite and my Meta Ads account are squeaky clean and have nothing to do with my personal account getting all weird, I should just hire a freelancer to do the ads for me. And what's really interesting is in the conversations that I had with some freelancers, some of them don't want to be anywhere near anything I'm doing because their entire livelihood is based on their Facebook account health and reputation, and I totally get that. But there was another guy who I spoke to who basically said because Meta is having all of these issues with tons and tons of bots coming into the platform to advertise and do, I don't want to call it nefarious, but less than awesome stuff on the platform, they will ban or restrict anyone who moves too fast on Meta ads. And so there is a strong possibility that they restricted my personal account activity because I know Meta ads so well that I flew through it so fast and so proficiently that they assumed that I was a bot. The unfortunate thing is, given my current resources, I can't have that appealed. So there are a couple workarounds around it, but I just went ahead and I ended up deciding to hire someone to do those ads for me. And so when we were out on San Juan, the friend that I was with helped me take some very rough ad content. I wanted to go with something that was very obviously not AI because I see a lot of mail clubs who are trying to drum up interest and wait lists and signups from AI content, and it's just kind of antithetical to what a snail mail club is meant for, right? It's meant for real authors and real artists and those kinds of humans to send their legitimate artwork and their legitimate work in the mail. AI is everywhere in the digital space, and the people who don't want it in their digital space absolutely don't want it in their mailbox. So it was really important to me to add content and videos and things like that that are very clearly human written, human made, human recorded. So I'm going to give those a test and we will see how they do when I get all of that up and running. But I was very fortunate that I found someone who was willing to do it. And I work with her on another client, so I know her and she's pretty great. So I can trust her like with my payment methods and stuff. I also got back on my direct outreach on Instagram, and that was actually really great. So I'm starting to get probably every like 10 to 20 cold DMs I get that nobody sees or responds to. I get one person who's actually really excited about the project. Oh, which is helpful because I actually reworked the landing page. I'm kind of just going with Epic based on the early information that I got from folks. It seems like that's what people are after. And so rather than doing the thing where, like, I was getting a lot of people who were landing on the first page and then not really clicking through anywhere because they didn't want to make a choice or they didn't want to look through all three and then decide. So I just went ahead with the early front runner of Epic Fantasy and decided to just kind of press into that realm first. And I also had some really great conversations with two different event organizers, and I may be able to go to their events and hand out prologue letters to either of those two events in December. So that's part of my goal as well, is to get out and be more present and be out in the industry more. And also, I know that when somebody gets their hand on the physical letter and they feel the paper and they see the items inside and they get to read the first teaser of the story, I have a pretty high degree of confidence that that's a really great way to capture interest and signups more than it is just like, hey, I'm doing a weekly letter series. So there's a lot of things that are kind of slowly moving their way in through motion, and it's just really important to continue to show up regularly, which is why, even though I don't feel well and I'm supposed to be resting, I knew I needed to get this weekly video out on my standard weekly release schedule because it's so important to show up consistently on these platforms. It makes such a difference. It really, 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 really does. So if you are trying to do anything at all on social media, you got to do your best to be consistent. So all that to say, there's a lot going on this week, but it's just kind of pressing things forward and being more intentional and doing higher volume, but also like, I am just going to kind of be happy with whatever I can accomplish this week, given the fact that, like, I'm not at 100% again, but that is life. And that is, you know, these are the moments that define who you are and how you behave and how you respond. I'm sorry, this was probably a little lower energy than you would want to see, but this is kind of the reality of what it means to show up every week. And so I don't want to pretend to be at a different energy level when it's just not true. But I also love what I do enough to be willing to work through the discomfort to the best of my ability while still also making sure that I'm not, driving myself into the dust, because then that's not good for anybody. So we have devolved into rambling once again. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for continuing to show up and support. I really appreciate everyone who, even if you are silently lurking, who is here and around for the journey. It means a lot to me, and I look forward to continuing to get better at content and posting more and more as I flex that muscle and make it stronger. I will see you in the next one. Bye.